morning, everybody. It's good to see you all here. I'm Colette the Highway Stitcher. I'm here to give you my stitching from the highway and at home. I originally said a long time ago when I started these videos that I thought I was doing them to keep myself accountable, as well as, I can show you my whips and my finishes, which is always fun to do, and accountability. But lately I've been thinking I'm doing it so I can start remembering words, because it seems like every time I get on to do a floss tube, I forget a word or forget how to say something. So that's the old brain in me. So I was thinking, oh, well, it's good I'm doing floss tubes so that I can work my old brain. You know, they always say you're supposed to be doing that. So that helps me out along with being accountable. Anyway, I'm glad to see all of you guys here. And it's kind of like not too bad temperature-wise in Utah. It's about 46 degrees right now, and 7 degrees Celsius. It's heading up to 55, 12 degrees Celsius. Later on, it's mostly cloudy, some patches of blue sky. Kind of a nice day. We had a little bit of rain at night, but now it's supposed to be clearing up. So we're in spring mode here. We go back and forth between, high 40s, 50s if it's raining. We need more rain, actually, so hopefully we'll get a little more of that. And then it'll go up to like 70. It just goes back and forth between the 50s and 60s. So I'm hoping that we don't get that weird weather last year where we had some like 80s in May, and that's not good. So, and I don't like it anyway, because I really don't care for hot weather that much. So I'm hoping that we stick at the highest in like 70 degrees here in May and have a nice spring. So on to stitching, and also I will have a little bit of lace too to tell you about, not to show. So I have 3 FFOs, and of course my whips, some haul, and my plans, because May is Stitch Mania to many of us. So I will get on with what's going on in May. I wanted to do this, try to get this done before April ends, which thank goodness I'm doing. My 3 FFOs are framed. I got them done at Hobby Lobby, and I think they did a good job. And if any of you have been watching, you'll remember these pieces. So, okay, first one is Welcome to the River. Let's see if I have. It's a 28 count mushroom linen with the called for DMC. And I picked this frame here. We had to custom frame this one. But I think they did a good job on it. And I'll be able to hang this up above my sliding glass door at our river house as we go out to the river. So that was my whole plan on this one. So I'm very, very happy with how this one turned out. And excited to take it back to the river house next time we go back. So finally done. So if you want to know more about this piece, I have the information in the other room, and I did not bring it in here, but I have not seen it anywhere. I don't know if it's out of print now or not, out of copyright. I'm not sure on that. But if somebody really wants to know, I'll get the information. Just email me below and I'll give you the information. So that's Welcome to the River. And then my other 2, I said I had 3, are my my needle treasure kits from years and years ago when I first started stitching when my kids were young. And then I put them aside and never worked on them again until about the mid-90s. And then I did a little bit more work on them. And then I stopped again until now. And I decided they needed to be done. And I'm so excited about them. I'm really grateful. Really glad about the frames I picked. These are needle treasure kits. They're Hummel, the little Hummel boys and girls. I'll show you the other one in a minute. This is the little goat herder. And I know that you can still get these on eBay or even maybe on other sites. They aren't expensive. They're still available. So, and they have quite a few different kits actually for the Hummel characters. So we used to raise goats, and then I'll show you chickens with a little chicken girl. And so I always had wanted to finish these. And so anyway, here's a little goat boy. I really like this frame with it. I think it's just kind of a real good compliment to these little guys. Like I said, it's a Needle Treasures kit with I used the kit floss, kit thread, and I think it was on 14 count if I remember right. So that's the little goat herder, and here's his cute little girl that he's with, little chicken girl. So both in the same frames, and she's feeding the chickens. So I just got these frames at Hobby Lobby. The Welcome to the River one, it was custom framed, but these I just picked up at Hobby Lobby. They were just there, and thank goodness these kit patterns worked, and they were about the right size. So I think they turned out just so cute, and I'm so glad that I got them done. I've always been fond of the Hummel characters, and I've always loved these two. So anyway, there's my FFOs. Exciting, exciting. So let me see, on to whips. I've got a lot here, and I didn't think I would have that many, because we've had a lot of issues going on in our life right now, and which I'm not going to go into, but because of feeling I didn't have much time to stitch and everything, I'm surprised that I have so many things here. They may not show a lot of progress on each one, but I did stitch on them, so that's good. My daughter got me this Highway Stitcher, so that's my water I'm drinking right now. My goodness, which way? I'm not sure how that's showing it to you, but anyway, you can see it. She had that made for me, so. Okay, when I was still at the River House, which we were at on my last floss tube, that's where I filmed from, I had finished pretty much everything that I could do for the month of April. The month of April for some of the challenges. And since I had rushed to get up to the house, I didn't bring along anything extra to work on. So I went back to working on my full coverage lace maker, which many of you have seen. And the reason why I did that, I could have gone ahead on some of the others, but I felt this one I was behind on a challenge. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm going to put some more stitches in it for the last few days that I was in Washington. And so this is the picture of it, if this is your first time joining me, and thank you if it is. This is a lace maker. The pattern, the company is Artisy, and it's a picture of a lace maker. I will be showing you later I do a lot of bobbin lace. That's my other passion, and she's a bobbin lace maker. So, of course, that lent itself to a pattern and to stitching, of course. So, the challenge I'm doing is, and there's a Facebook group called Full Coverage Fanatics, which they have a lot of challenges that you can participate in if you want. And I always start out big and think I'm going to do tons, but I usually end up just mainly working on their yearly challenge so that I can have time to finish it. Last year I finished 21,000 stitches in 2021, and this year I'm working towards 22,000 stitches in 2022 for the lace maker. I won't take it out of the Q-snaps right now. I moved over, before I had been working and finished up the whole full side of this house down to where it starts to have the regular side and the roof being done. So this last few days at the River House, I moved over to here because, I thought, oh, I'm going to move over because, and I will explain this, a little bit later because I had a question from one viewer. But actually, I can explain it right now while I'm talking about it. Anyway, she asked me what the typewriter method was. And that's of stitching full coverage patterns. And that's a method that I picked up from Sarah, who's FlossTube with Stitching Mommy on FlossTube. And what she does generally is she veers off of it too sometimes, just as I veer off of it. But when we do it, what we do is we take the highest unworked square of color. Like let's say you had one up here that was not worked yet. We take that highest unworked color, we put one thread in, and because I'm generally stitching this 1/1, I mean I am stitching this 1/1, and then we stitch that as far down wherever it may be, anywhere in this pattern that's fairly close by. You know, I don't go way across if some of it's over here. If I do that, I mean, if I do want to do that and finish them up, then I'll finish this bit and then take the rest over and do it over there if there is some. But I take the highest unworked square and stitch it, and then any others that may be that same color all through here. I work down here in a semi cross-country, not extreme cross-country, because I don't really care to do that. But I don't mind doing a semi cross-country, maybe down to where my gridding stops on some of mine, or maybe even a little farther than what I've gridded. So that's what it entails for the typewriter method. And I think the reason why it's called that is because when you're going to cross the old-fashioned typewriters, you start from the left, work your way to the right, go back and go down. So you're like going down slowly, finishing up every line. So that's, I think, kind of how it got its name. So that's basically usually the way I do my full coverage. When I start them, I don't generally start them typewriter, because if you were doing typewriter, you would be doing all that first row of whatever color it is. Generally what I do when I start is I just like to get down to an area. This one I couldn't because it was all white pretty much and just a tiny bit of chimney. But generally with most of my full coverages, you have something fun showing up right about there. So I generally start in the left-hand corner and work my way down with some like cross-country. I'll pick one color and I'll work down because I want to get an item kind of showing up. It excites me, it makes me want to work on it more. But once I get some items showing up, you know, whether it would be a flower or a bird or whatever, then I generally go back to my typewriter method and I just work my way down. So it's a little bit of cross country, a little bit of fill in, depending on what color you're actually working on. So I hope that helps the question that was asked me. If not, you know, I'd be happy to tell you more about it. I'm not always the best in explaining things, but I try. So, and also you can go to Stitchin' Mommy's videos and listen to her, and she also explains it. And her way may be more easier for you to understand than mine. So anyway, what I did is I moved over here because my highest unworked box was over here. I had not filled in one of these gray blues up in these trees. So I started working on them and filling them up because there were several there, as well as some. This is going to be another smaller chimney. There's a chimney, big one, and this is like recessed back, like in the you know, back part of the garden or whatever else. And so that's like a smaller, shorter chimney. So I worked mostly on filling in this area here more, and this area, and doing a little cross country down there. And then also some of the unworked thread colors that I picked up were also over here, where this kind of part of the roof goes down. I got 1,053 stitches. I'm not up to being level with my 22,000 of what I should have, but it did help a lot. I got 2,000 some stitches done while I was on my trip, so. But now I have to put it aside, and that's when I lose my, you know, my amount of stitches and done. But, you know, there's other things I like to work on. So anyway, I stitched this on a white Lugana 25 count, 1/1 full cross, and I'm gridding it myself, and it's Zweigart, like a Zweigart Lugana. Well, and so I hope that helped the, you know, those that kind of wanted to know more about how I do my full coverage. Okay, when I got home, I can't show this to you because I took it off to get framed. But some of you remember I was working on a birth sampler for my great niece, who was born March 15th, I think. Yeah, she's the day after my grandson, who's March 14th. And all I had to do was like design this area here with her name and her date of birth. So like charted out. So everything else was done when I showed you 2 weeks ago. No, wait, not 2 weeks ago. It would have been before, the floss tube before that, because I did not bring this up because I was finished, but I didn't want to chart it out right then because I wasn't taking it to get it framed yet. So I thought I'll just wait till I get home. So anyway, this is at the framers. I did chart it out. My grandniece's name is Zoe Ann, and she was born March 15th, like I said, 2002. So it's just, I love the way I charted it. So anyway, you're going to get a look at it probably in another week or so when I get it back. Because I know that my niece doesn't watch my floss tube. My sister doesn't watch my floss tube. So I think I can secretly show it fine to all of you guys. I would be surprised if they said anything. Really surprised. So that's that. And that'll be another FFO. So what happened after that? I got home, finished charting that burst sampler, and finished it. Then I moved on. I'm working on a challenge that's a yearly challenge through Daily 30 Facebook group, which is a closed group. But the yearly challenge that they do, to try to explain it a little bit, is you have three stitch pieces, whips, that you want to either get finished or get a lot of work done on this year. And you can choose the amount of stitches that you want to do. And that just kind of tells you it in a, just a short version. I did end up finishing 2 pieces that I showed on my last floss tube, or the one before. So now I put in 2 more pieces into the challenge. One of them is Here Lie My Needles. This is a Shakespeare's Peddler piece, and this is in my original Stitch Mania from way back in 2017 when I first started what is it called? Our challenge, or our, like fun thing that we did in May, which was called Stitch Mania. A lot of people still do Stitch Mania. See, I'm trying to think of words and I can't think of words. So I do floss tube, so I can forget words and maybe think about more words and try to remember some. Anyway, this was one of my original Stitch Mania pieces. And so I decided, I have been, for this yearly challenge for the last year and this year, I've been pulling old Stitch Mania stitching that I've done, whips that I've done, and that are still sitting there undone. And I've put them into this yearly challenge. And I've gotten quite a few done. So this will not only be worked on this month for my yearly challenge, but it will also be worked on the day of its birthday. So to explain that, that's also a Stitch Mania. Everybody does their Stitch Mania a different way. It was started out by 2 people on that they started a Facebook page and a group because they wanted to start a new project every day of May. And since then, people have taken it and flown with all kinds of ideas, and it's fun. If you go to anybody's floss tube now, most everybody has their own way of doing Stitch Mania if they do it, and some people even do it as March Mania or another month. So, it's kind of morphed into all kinds of aspects. Well, with me, I decided that I have 10 Stitch Mania pieces left. When I started in 2017, I did a new start for every day. No, wait, 31. I had 31 pieces. I did a new start for every day in May. That was absolutely nuts. That was nuts, nuts, nuts. So the next year after that, I pretty much worked on them, finished some up. And then when I did Stitch Mania, like in 2019 and 2020, I opted to put in maybe some whips into the spots where I had finished previous manias. And a lot of people do that. They'll do like a whip mania. But this year I've opted to just stitch on my Stitch Mania pieces that are left. I do what some other people do, and when I started Stitch Mania, I wrote down on May 1st the piece that I was going to stitch on and everything, all the information about it. And I'm glad I did that and what year I started it in. So this year, last year I did this, and this year I'm also doing it. I'm only going to do stitch, I guess I call it a stitch and finish mania, actually, SNF mania, where on the day that I started that stitch mania piece, if it is not finished, I am going to work on it all day. But then I'll just move on to my other challenges, my other monthly challenges, other things I'm doing, until I come to another day where I had another Stitch Mania whip that has not been finished. And then I'll work all day on that. I now have 10 Stitch Mania pieces, some dating all the way back to 2017. And that's not too bad after 31 pieces. I've gotten it down, whittled it down to 10. So these 10 will be worked on this month. I'm only going to show you the ones for the next 2 weeks that I have put into the days that they were started. Then I hope to have a floss tube, and I'll show you the last few. So there aren't very many left. So I'm hoping that is understandable to you. My Stitch and Finish Mania will only be those pieces that I have as whips left for Stitch Mania and on the day that I started them. And one of those is also in my yearly challenge, the Here Lie My Needles that I showed you. Now you'll see that this is different, but before I tell you why it's different and what I'm doing, I'm going to let you know what it's on. It's I started this in 2017. It was my very first Mania, very first day, and did not finish it, and I'll explain why in a minute. But it is being stitched. Maybe you can see a little better back there. It's being stitched on a 28 count over-dyed peach Lugana. And I am using the called for flosses. They're over-dyed flosses. I believe Shakespeare's Peddler used Weeks and sampler threads both. And at that time, there was no issue getting them, so I have them all. Now, the reason why this doesn't look exactly like this, as you can see, oops, upside down. As you can see, this piece was originally meant to be a piece to put your broken and rusted needles. Over there, it says some lost, some broken, some rusty, and there's places to put your needles. And then underneath, she had finished it with like a little piece of, looks like wool, and put the buttons there and some other needles. And it's very cute that way. For some reason, after I lost interest in this after the first year, I couldn't understand. I only picked it up all the way until last year. I only picked it up on Stitch Mania. And when I put a few stitches in it, I didn't even like it, and I set it back down again. And I had to figure out why this was bugging me. And I realized that for some reason I had totally lost interest, not so much in what I've stitched here, but I lost interest in doing a piece where I put my bent and broken needles on. I just wasn't interested in doing it anymore. So I had to make a choice, because I wasn't going to like stitching on this just to finish it if I did not want to do that with it. So I had to make a choice of either passing this on to somebody, pass the stash, ripping it out, which I was not going to do, or changing it. So I was leaning towards passing the stash, but I was talking with a group of stitchers. Thank you. And the idea that they gave me, they said, well, why don't you just make that either into a needle book, cut the pattern down, make a border around just the lady, it says, Here Lie My Needles, and make it into either a stitching roll to put needles in or a stitching book. And I thought, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think that? But that's why I love to pick other people's brains and ask them. I was so appreciative of that when they gave me that idea. This will definitely be, being on 28 count, a large stitch roll or a large stitch book, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm excited to finish it now, and I like stitching on it, and that's what counts. So that's what it's going to be when it's finished. That's what it's going to be when it grows up. So I really don't have much left on it. I just charted it to finish it down the side there. It was right down along the side of those little cute bees. When I finish the border around the bottom, I am also going to finish up with partial letters. As you can see, they have like the letters of the alphabet, and yeah, I think that's all, pretty much letters of the alphabet. I'm trying to decide right now as I finish this up whether I'm going to put my initials or something else. So we'll see. But I'm going to just stitch either my initials, my name, you know, other things with the actual font of this, so it matches it. So it matches the Here Lie My Needles. So I'm pretty excited about this. It's generated more, you know, like renewing of excitement. And because of that, I know I don't have much left. I only have to go probably a little bit farther here. Maybe about down to here and across for the area where the letters are. So that's gonna be done in no time. And then I'll just chart out whatever I decide on the letters, and then this will be a Stitch Mania finish. So tomorrow and Saturday before May start, I'm going to work on the rest of this to get that whole box border done. And then I'm hoping to start charting the letters. And I'm hoping on May 1st, which is the date of this piece started in 2017, it will be a finish on May 1st, 2022. So root me on. I hope that works. So I hope I get it done. And then I'll be down to 9 Stitch Mania starts from the beginning, from when I started Stitch Mania. Okay, another piece I'm going to be working on before Stitch Mania starts a little bit, because I'm only planning on probably doing the border on Here Lie My Needles, and then I'm going to leave the charting for Monday and do that and finish up the piece on Monday. So another one of my yearly challenges that I'm working on of the 3, so I thought I would show them all again now because I worked on them last week. Pretty much all I worked on because I have to finish up my amount of stitches in order to put my pictures in to show that I worked on it for April, my three yearly challenges for Daily 30. So Here Lie My Needles was one of them. My second one is Piece Band Sampler. This was also a new here I'm thinking of words. A new stitch whip, a new whip stitch put into my Daily 30 yearly challenge. So, because the other one had been finished. This is my 3rd birthday sal with my good friend Krista. Our birthdays are on October 29th, and we get together. We started this 3 years ago, and we get together and we pick a piece to work on that we both like. And we stitch on it all year long, and then we show it off on our birthdays. And then we again pick another one and show it off, you know, as we go. Last year I made a big boo-boo because I had it sitting there going, oh, it's not that big of a piece, because our first piece that we were working on was Plantation Sampler. And that was huge, and I knew I had to keep working on that. But my piece last year was a drawn thread piece called Those Who Sing. And I go, oh, this isn't very much. I'll get this done fast. So I was just working on my other challenges, and I think it was like September, and I started freaking out because I realized that I wasn't even half done with my birthday start, and if I didn't just work on it all, just on it, I wouldn't get it done. So I finished up something in yearly challenge, and I threw it into yearly challenge, and it was about the only thing I worked on the Daily 30 yearly challenge to get it done. So this year I was smarter. This year, when I finished last month's piece, guess what got put in right away is Piece Band Sampler. This is by Heartstring Samplery. This was our pick for our birthday sale this year. I love this piece. It's so much fun to work on. So I just had to have a little incentive. I put it into the yearly challenge, and now my incentive is great. And I mean, you know, I'm excited about it, and I'm going to be working on it the rest of this year. My choice is, and it's kind of hard to see here, but this is a very, very light green-gray. It's called Through the Stones, and I believe it's a color in cotton. No, it's a Be Stitched Me, actually. Sometimes I gotta look, and I've still got the card on it, thank goodness. This is a Be Stitched Me fabric. It's a Lugana, a 32 count, called Through the Stones, a mottled gray green. The thread I'm using a sulky thread, and the color is 712, and it's this green here. And with sulky thread, if some of you do not know, it's the same pretty much as 2 strands of DMC and comes off the spool. If you want to know more about it, I would suggest going to my friend Brenda Miles, who does Handwork Maniac, and look through her past videos. She loves to work with sulky thread, and she'll let you know a lot of the different counts it works best on and how it fills up things better. I've been having fun with this. This has been a nice thread. It's been filling up the piece good, and I like, what I really like about it is I was for sure going to do a monochromatic. Krista was too, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my monochromatic. I've done red work before and blue work and stuff. But when I thought of the inspiration of this is actually coming from a song back in the early 70s from Cat Stevens called Peace Train, about, hoping that the world will get better, and let's, all get on the peace train and let it take us, and help us be better people, making the world as one. And I believe someday it will come. And the more I thought about that, the more I thought I wanted kind of a peaceful green color of some kind, maybe more garden looking. And so I went looking through my stash of fabric, and thank goodness I have a lot of it. So I came up with this fabric, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So then I thought, well, I've always wanted to use sulky thread totally for a project. So I stitched some of the thread on it, liked how it looked on 32 count. And so that has been my choices for this. This is a yearly challenge, so it will be kept up on. This is what I accomplished last week on it. And what I had done before, from what I remember, is pretty much just that first row of motif. So the second row motif is what I worked on. So it was the little circles was what I did. That's my second yearly challenge, and I worked on that last week. My third one is one you're familiar with. It's still on my yearly challenge from when I started yearly challenges last year. Is Garden Prelude by Mirabilia, my lovely young violin lady. This is being stitched on 32 count Demoiselle by Picture This Plus. A lightly colored mottled, like blue-green pink fabric, which is lovely for the girl here, I think. And what I worked on, which I'll go down here farther, for my stitches that I needed to do for my challenge, I ended up starting about here and working my way down to there. So if you look at the picture, you'll see that that part of her dress really, really extends. It keeps going, going, going. So where I'm working on is probably right in there. I'm thinking it's starting to go. Let's see. Looking at that close. Looking at this close. Yeah, there's the lines that are going, the white lines that are going like that. So that's the part that I worked on, is this part right here. Those two lines. So I'll be getting down in here where it kind of darkens a little bit to make the folds jump out as I work down. I color changed this, as I have told you before in previous videos. This is I changed it out from the black hair of the lady to my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter. She's graduating, and this is her. She's a violinist, and she's very good at it. And this is her coloring. So I changed out the coloring to reflect her hair and her skin. So that's my third yearly challenge for Daily 30, and I worked on that this last week. So, and I let you know for the next 2 days, it will be Here Lie My Needles and Piece Band Sampler until Mania starts on May 1st. So since I already told you that, Let's see. Get back on my notes here so I don't get all confused. Let's see. Okay, the rest of this will actually be my plans, my upcoming plans, which I did do a little bit here when I was showing you my pieces I worked on. So I'm going to go into plans after I show you the little bit of haul that I have. So I'm going to move on to haul. And I have a little bit here. The first haul I have, Heaven and Earth Designs, the full coverage company, was having a sale. And of course, I had to jump on the sale bandwagon. I always do. I'm never going to finish all these. Look at this. I printed out color pictures of whatever full coverage I had because just the first page, so I could show it off, because so many times when it gets stuck in with my piece, it just gets shredded and messed up. And since I always use Pattern Keeper now for stitching my full coverage, which is the app that you do on a tablet or a Kindle reader, and I just mark off my stitches on that, I don't really have a colored picture of every single piece. And to look them up on my tablet, each one, and showing it to you is going to take some time. So I opted to do a similar thing to Sarah Stitchy Mommy, and I copied off all of my every single HAID that I've got. I think this is every single HAID, full coverage. Some are artsy, some are pain-free, and I think I have too many to work on in my lifetime. So, but that doesn't make me stop buying because it's just so much fun. So anyway, I did rein myself in one way, though. I decided that it'd be easier for me to finish mini ones than some full size. So I looked up some mini ones, and ones that I liked and that I thought would work out fine as far as their detail, and bought them. So the ones that I bought at the sale was, the first one was Mini Frosty Morning Song by Donna Gelsinger. I got two by her. So I'm going to put this up closer where you can see it, not me. I just loved this winter scene of the birds, the cardinal, and the little barn behind, the goldfinches. I mean, I just loved this scene. So it just grabbed me. So this is the one I'm going to be, one of the ones that I hope to be starting sometime. I also got another Donna Gelsinger. I'd always liked this one. It's a mini one also. It's God's Loving Touch. So that's like Mary with baby Jesus. I just love this piece always. And so that was another one I picked up. And then the third one I got was a more of a, you know, the ones that they call the antiquity ones. And I like some of the full coverage that people are doing where a woman is reading, but a lot of them I just don't want to go through all the background, and I don't want to try to rechart them or whatever else. I saw a mini lady reading by the window, artwork by Thomas Benjamin Kennington, and of course the charts designed by Michelle Sayada of Heaven and Earth. And I thought this was really pretty. There's a lady sitting by the window reading, which is my other passion besides lace making and stitching. And so I thought, well, this is a piece that I could try to do some on. And would be more doable for me because it's 312 by 400. So it's not like one of those 600 by 700 ones. And it's just, that's how I feel sometimes. I love to read regular books, open them up, turn the pages, just sit there and read and just lose myself in it, and I don't even notice anybody else who's around. So that is me all over. So those are the three pieces that I picked up during the sale. I wanted to show you. Okay. Some other haul. I got my monthly haul from my fabric from Color and Cotton, which I'm getting a 40 count linen. This is called Pampas Grass. I'm going to have to staple this on so I don't lose it. Real pretty neutral. So. And then I also got my Be Stitched Me fabric. I'll put that down there. For the month, which is also 40 count linen. And it is called Cinnamon. I thought this was really pretty. I could see a mirror going on this, but it's for 40 count, so I should have done 32. But anyway, it's such a pretty color. I'm sure I can find something to do this on. So, but that's what kind of I first looked at it and I'm going, oh my goodness, that's like a mirror. So, a mirror waiting to be stitched. I also went to my local stitching store, Craft Center of Fine Stitchery in Salt Lake. I was up visiting another friend and stitching close by the store. So I ended up stopping by because I needed I needed to add a particular skein of floss, which was a week's floss that I was running out of. And of course I couldn't just go there and not get anything. So the first thing I did was I went over to the 50% off box, which I always do. And I found a couple patterns half off, and I'll show you those to you. This is a Bent Creek pattern, which they actually used for a stocking or a picture. You could do either one. But it's the 12 Days of Christmas, all kind of mishmashed together, if you look at it. So, which I thought was really cute. And it says down at the bottom, my true love gave to me. So like all these things, my true love gave to me. Oh, so cute. So I have to decide. I don't think I'm going to do stocking because I have other stockings that I'm actually, from a certain group that follow the what do you call it? There we go with words again. That follow the theme, okay? And this one does not follow the theme. So I'm not going to stitch this as a stocking, but I'm definitely going to stitch it. It's just the cutest thing. 6 geese laying, 5 golden. I mean, and it's just like all the stuff. But then she says at the bottom, "My true love gave to me." So that was an easy choose for half off. I just went, yes, that's mine. The other one is I saw it and I go, well, it gives me another baby sampler that I can pull from. I'm sure I'm going to get some other grandnieces and grandnephews out of this. I think my kids are all done with grandkids, but thought this was a cute one and I got it half off. So real good price. It's Praiseworthy Stitches. Sweet Baby Sampler. So it's not too big. It ends up being like, if I do it in like a 32 count, which I probably would, it ends up only being 6 by 9, so that's a doable size. And it says, "Our dear sweet child, welcome to our hearts," and then has a little bit of alphabet, and then the baby's name and date. So another fabulous find for half off. Went up to the front. Her brand new patterns from Needle Nashville and all that was up there. I really didn't look at Nashville. I just have been excited just finishing my projects, my whips, working on my stuff. But when you see a piece in person, sometimes you just fall in love with it. And I fell in love with 3, but I'm saving my money for retreats and for other things, so I only bought one of them. But I really love the one I bought. It's Quaker Flowers. I'm sure some of you who kept up on Needlework Market saw this one too. And it doesn't really show it how really beautiful all those flowers are except in person. This pattern, even when you put it far back, it's those flowers on there are just absolutely beautiful. And I love flowers, so that was my one spend for a Needlework Market pattern. And that was going to be it. But also on the front desk, Craft Center has been getting a lot of Lori Holt Fat Quarter Shop stuff. And they had these stitchy readers with a soft case included for a really good price. All different like magnifiers with the cute case. And the glasses for $10. I don't know, for me, this is great. I mean, sometimes I'll go to other places and the readers will be $10. So this one I thought was cute. See the checkerboard, and then it's a blue one. So I got some higher ones for sometimes for the higher count that I do. So I got 2. I got that pink one there, and then I got this blue one with the flowers on it. And this one has, okay, come on out. This one also has like a checkerboard blue, which I thought was so cute. But more of like a you know, like a cross. So they're so cute. Yay. So that's what I got at Craft Center of my haul. So I did more than I wanted to. My main thing was just the floss and looking at the 50% off box, but I'm glad I picked up these other ones. So that's my haul. I think that's all my haul. Yeah, not too bad. Oh wait, no, there is one other actually. Any of you who know a lot of the shops throughout the United States and keep track of them all, you know, either on Instagram or Facebook, know of Fire Puppies. And then again, I guess they know that Fire Puppies decided to close and retire. The couple that was running it decided to retire. Everything's pretty much gone now, but they had a sale. And on the day that the sale started, I had looked before and had seen something that I wanted. So I went on and I got it. A couple pieces of fabric, as if I need any more fabric. But I got this Silver Fox 40 count linen fiber on a whim, which I really like the color of. And I didn't have a color like this. So I got this on sale on their going out of business sale. And then the other one I got was a 25 count for my full coverage, which I always try to pick up a half a yard whenever I have a little bit of extra money, so that I have a lot of different colors to do for my full coverage, so I can just pull them out of my own little stash. So she had dark cobblestone 25 count, a half a yard, so I picked that up on sale too. So it's like a darker color and a half a yard. So I'm sorry that, you know, as we all wish, we don't like stores, you know, closing, but you know, I wish them luck and on all their travels and all of their doing their fun stuff as they're retired. So, and I'm glad I was able to get a couple things on their going out of business sale. Okay, now I can move on to what my plans are. So I've mentioned that I'm going to work on the 2 yearly pieces, Here Lie My Needles and Piece Band Sampler, all the way up until May 1st. And then on May 1st is my first Stitch Mania, or Stitch and Finish Mania piece, which is Here Lie My Needles. And that will be a finish, I know. I just know. So on May 2nd, I also have a Stitch and Finish Mania piece. It's also in my WhipGo, and WhipGo is again a challenge group that was started by Jessie Marie Does Stuff on FlossTube, where you do a bingo board and put pieces on your bingo board for what you want to work on during the year, and make your own, you know, plans. I mean, your own goals for stitch, you know, for like hours or how many stitches you want to do or whatever. I opted to do a sampler WhipGo, which it was sampler focused, and I picked samplers that I hadn't done any work on for a long time, either since last Stitch Mania a whole year ago or even beyond that I had not picked them up. One of them I've already done some work on, but it will be worked on again on May 2nd because that's its Stitch Mania Stitch and Finish Day, and that's Prairie Life Sampler. This was a WhipGo choice chosen, I believe, 2 months ago. It will also be chosen again 2 more times. So, and I have not really looked. Well, actually I did look, but I forgot. And this may actually be chosen again for WhipGo. I can't remember. I know Panoply of Posies was chosen, and I was glad for that. No, I think I know what it was. One was a free space. So we could either put something in or, you know, go ahead and just leave it blank. So I think I decided to go on with Prairie Life Sampler and do some work on it as a WhipGo for the free space. And then Panoply of Posies was chosen on the number that was not a free space. So this one I started in 2018. I think it came out in 2018. Not positive on that, but never worked on it at all, even though I really enjoyed it. There's nothing, it's not like Here Lie My Needles where I was bugged by something and didn't want to work on it again. This one I enjoyed, but it just seemed like other things would take precedence, you know, so I decided that I was going to put it into my sampler WIPCO this year. So I knew it would be worked on at least 3 times a year for 1,000 stitches, which is my goal for WIPCO a month. And then I would also work on it on my Stitch and Finish Mania Day, which the day started for this one was May 2nd. So, you know, before I didn't have hardly anything done on it. I think I had the bear done and the first 3 or 4 trees and a little bit of the border. And now, as you can see, I have more trees done. The cabin is finished and I'm working on to other parts of the sampler. So it's growing. And this is on, oh, this is by Heartstring Samplery also. And it is, I'm stitching it on a 28 count antique white linen, a Zweigart base, with all the called for overdyed floss, which I had already bought it before. A lot of it was sampler, some was weeks, but I didn't have to worry about it during COVID at all. So get off of there, thread. I know you're on there somewhere. Oh. So anyway, I'll be working on this one on May 2nd. It's Stitch and Finish with Mania Day. Stitch and Finish someday. So this has been getting worked on it, so it is progressing. So it is not going to be just worked on May 2nd. Again, it'll be worked on other times, which I'm glad about. Okay, looking at my calendar here, May 3rd did not have a Stitch and Finish WIP. Whatever was there before was finished. But that's all right, because I'm going to be, I'll tell you a little bit later during my lace portion that I have a lace class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so not a lot will be done actually on Prairie Life Sampler. It'll only be worked on at night, as well as my May 4th Stitch and Finish piece. So, but, you know, this lace class doesn't come along all the time. It's a teacher from California, and I want to do the lace, so unfortunately these few Stitch Mania Stitch and Finish ones won't get as much hours done on them. So nothing will be done on Tuesday. I probably will get no stitching done at all, unless I feel like it. Monday on May 1st will be Prairie Life Sampler. Tuesday, no, I mean Monday we hear Lima Needles. Tuesday will be Prairie Life Sampler. Sunday is the 1st of May. That'll be Here Lie My Needles. Okay, Colette, work your brain the right way. The 2nd is Monday. That's the first day of my lace class. Here Lie My Needles. But I am going to finish it. Tuesday is lace class. These are all day. It's all day, by the way. So I'm there from like 8 in the morning until like 6 at night. I'm just doing lace. I'm crashing afterwards. I'm not doing any stitching. So that's the 3rd. May 4th, I have another Stitch and Finish that I started on the 4th. Any of you who make the joke of May the 4th be with you, you'll understand why I started this piece in 2017. It's In This House, We Do Star Wars. This is by Crazy to Stitch, which I have not even looked up to see if they're still there or still have patterns. Some of you know about the In This House. You've done the Disney one or other ones. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of work on this on its birthday, on its Stitch and Finish birthday. And this is what I've gotten accomplished, which only got done the last 5 years. Well, golly, what is that? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, the last 5 Stitch Manias is the only time this was ever worked on. I get kind of burned out with all that black, and yet I like the look, so I'm going to continue with this. But I didn't realize how bored I would get with this piece. But I still really like it, and I know my son-in-law is going to love it when I ever get it done. So I'm going to continue with it. It is being stitched on a 28 count Jobelin Pearl Gray, with, of course, DMC Black 310, which I think is covering it just fine. I don't know. Looks fine to me. So there's BB-8 on there. So long ago. So since that was started on May 4th, it will be a Stitch and Eventual Finish Mania piece this May 4th. After that, I don't have any more Stitch Mania pieces until Sunday the 8th. Everything else was finished. And on May 8th, I started another piece. So what I'm planning on doing on those few days is I'm going to work on my home in the... First of all, I'm going to work on a daily 30, just where I'm going to do 30 minutes a day on a piece. And that got thrown in just today on my plans because I watched Denise of Black Ribbon Studio, and she showed this piece, and I thought, oh, I have to keep working on this for Denise. So both of us are doing a Sal, an Engelbright, hashtag Engelbright Love Sal. And we're going to exchange these pieces. And the piece that we chose was To a Friend's House, the Road is Never Long. So, and we are stitching these, finishing them, and sending them to each other when we're done. And Denise still has been working on hers, even with everything that's been going on in her life. And when I saw that, I'm going, yes, it's going to be every day I'm going to work on it at least 50 stitches, 100 stitches for the next couple of weeks. This is what I got done when I worked on it originally. Before I went to the River House, I did some work on it. I decided to do all the red and frame the piece. For some reason, I was just in the mood to do that, get some of the border done. Not for any particular reason, but that's what I did. And then I started filling in the red for those flowers, because I thought, well, I'll just do that part. And then I started doing some of the black, filling in with the border. So that's what I've done so far. So I'll show you what my progress is when I come back in a couple weeks and see this piece taking shape more. I love it. I love Mary Engelbright, her pictures, everything, you know, and so I was excited to join in on this Sal. Oh, and by the way, anybody can join in on it. It's like, you know, just have fun. If you can find a Mary Engelbright piece online, we happen to have the books because we both loved Mary Engelbright, but you can even actually find these books if you want more of her patterns too. So, and Pam of Just Keep Stitching is also stitching along with us and working on a Mary Engelbright. So it's kind of one of those old loves for some of us that we just really, really like. So if you want to join us, come along. So I'll be doing that every day this next 2 weeks and see what I can get done on that. Another piece that I'll be doing after I just do my 50 to 100 stitches on To a Friend's House. I'm going back to my home in the garden. This is a Sal that we're doing in sections. A lot of my Utah friends and I are doing this along with a few others. And we started this or they actually started it. I was at another retreat, but Brenda of Handwork Maniac and Kim's Store decided to start this, and we all joined in on the Sal. And I'm the fearless leader, so I have to make sure I keep up on it and have my part done and get everybody motivated to work on it. So it's a lovely pattern by Hello from Liz Matthews. I showed you last time, my last floss tube, what I finished. It's on 32 count, Be Stitched Me, Peanut. Or is it not another sampler? Oh my goodness, there goes the brain again. But it is on the called for fabric, so if you do have Liz Matthews' pattern for this, it's either, I think it's Peanut. Be Stitch Me Peanut, but it might be Stitch Me Not Another Sampler, because I was actually working on another piece on Be Stitch Me Not Another Sampler, so now I can't remember which one it is, and I don't have it written down. But it's on one or the other. And also I'm using Liz Matthews' Called For Silks on this, and they're Glorianas, and it's beautiful. It's just lovely. I love working on this. Those motifs and the letters, I love the fonts on those letters. They're just so much fun to stitch. So, and border not so much, but just doing a little bit each month has been fine. So our next month's will be right here, this section here. So this flower and this B step and these letters. So that's what I'm going to be working on those few days after where I don't have any Stitch and Finish Mania pieces. And that'll be until May 8th. And May 8th, I have another Stitch and Finish Mania piece that I started 2019 or 2020. And I don't have it here with me in front of me, but it was one of those dates. Panoply Posies. This is also on my sampler Whipco board too. Kind of an unassuming looking piece, but I had ideas for this that I wanted to do if I ever get it finished. But because of the ideas, it has been taking me longer, and then I think to myself, I want to do more changes in it. And so when you're doing changes, as you know, and recharting, it takes, you're working a lot on recharting and other things. So not as much actual stitching gets done. But I have some exciting thoughts on this. This was started on May 8th of, like I said, of 2019 for Stitch Mania. So it will be May 8th. I will be working on it May 8th this coming month, as well as another day, another several days too, because I'm going to work on it after its birthday, because I have to get Whipco stitches done on it. This is being stitched on a 32 count vintage country mocha, and it's linen. Yeah, it's not even weave, and stitched with flosses that I chose, which I do not have with me here. The other time I showed this piece, I did have them all and I showed them. They're pretty much all classic colorworks. I think there might have been one sampler threads, and I'd be very happy to tell you the conversion by email if you would like to know. My email will be below. And the reason why I am doing it in a red, white, and blue prim style is because I belong to a lineage association, as I've mentioned before to those who've listened to my previous videos. And it's called Daughters of the American Revolution. And its symbols, initials, are DAR. And when I picked up this piece at Stitchville in Minneapolis, or outside of Minneapolis, that's what grabbed me on this sampler, because DAR was already on there enlarged. So I knew that I wanted to do a DAR piece that I could hang on my wall with red, white, and blue for the lineage group that I love and belong to. So because of the fact that I'm going to be adding, in areas here, I'm going to add the motto of the Daughters of American Revolution, which is education. Boy, now I hear him thinking of words again. But education is one of them. But anyway, there's two others. And I'm going to try to add them in the same font as this in different sections of this and take out certain motifs of the Quaker motifs. So that's why I've got to do some charting and redoing on this. And also have my initials and the year that I finished it, of course, which will not be now, but I'll have that open, the space open for that. But I will have time to work on this, quite a bit of time this month to work on this, because it's called for my Whipco, because I called it myself for my free space. And also for its Stitch and Finish Mania date, which is May 8th, which is Sunday. So that's what I'll be working on then. And I will be working on that for several days afterwards. The last piece I'm going to show you, because I'm hoping to come back in 2 weeks and do another floss tube on the 13th. And then I can show you the final few Stitch and Finish Mania pieces I have. On May 12th in 2019, I started Let's Visit the Southwest. 2019 Mania, I started Let's Visit the Southwest on May 12th. That's its birthday. So this will be a Stitch and Sometime Finish Mania piece on May 12th. Always. It's a pretty piece. I really am glad for the colors that I chose for it. And I chose it because at the time, I'm from California originally. I was born and raised there, so I wanted to do this piece to kind of, and also I'm a big Route 66 fan, so I wanted to do this piece for those two reasons. to celebrate my living in the Southwest when I did all my life until 10 years ago when I moved. And in a way, some people still consider Utah the Southwest, so, and because of my love of Route 66. This is being stitched on, hard to show it really how, it's maybe a little, shows it probably better back here. Picture this plus 28 count mellow. And I think this was a perfect Southwesty look to this. I am just using the called for DMCs. There's a lot of, you know, just one stitch, like back stitch type of, to the design, as well as some of the other. And I just love the way it's looking. It's just so pretty. It just hasn't been, I just haven't had a chance because of everything else to put it into a challenge. But it, you know, eventually will be put into one of my challenges and worked on. But it will be worked on all day, and I'll have the time to work on it all day on on Thursday, May 12th. And that's usually a good day for me to stitch. So hopefully I'll get a lot of work done on it. And then after that, I'm hoping to get back to you. So those are my plans, my Stitch Mania plans. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more Stitch Mania pieces that will be stitched and finally finished someday on their Stitch Mania birthday. So I will show them to you at my next floss tube. So, lace. I'm going to have to, did I leave it over there or did I bring it here? Let me see if I brought it here. Well, I'm guessing I'm going to have to turn this off for a bit. Be right back. Okay, on to my lace. I'm taking a class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We have a teacher coming in from California. She does Milanese lace, and as you know, I like Milanese lace. I was working on the cactus, which was also one of her patterns. This shows the patterns that all of us who are taking the class, there's 15 of us, can choose between. I've already done this one and this one. And so I chose between these two, and the one I really wanted to work on was this one, the owl. She just barely came out with that pattern, and I just fell in love with it. And I have ideas, totally different ideas on color. I'm going to be using like, I'm going to make it more like a snowy owl. So I'm going to have grays, dark grays, blacks in this part of the horns, and then this part of the wing. And then I think this part, which is lighter, and its stomach, I'm going to do like some blue grays, white, and, you know, like that. And also I have metallics too that will be going in this. So I'm really excited. It's all trashed over here. You can't see it, but I have my table with all my bobbins where I'm winding the thread for this soon-to-be class, because I've got to get the thread wound up so that I'll be able to start, because it starts in sections. As those who have watched my videos before and watched the lace part, you know that Milanese lace starts in sections. My cactus had several sections. This will start here, work its way down to there and back up to there and finish. Then we will start this part of the face, work around and sew it in. And then we'll start the wing. Start it there, work it down, work it back. These are called braids. I mentioned that before. Braids are the different cute fillings of the Milanese lace. So it goes in sections, so I have a lot of bobbins to wind, and I don't ever wind all of them because usually in a 3-day class, lace goes very slow. So I'm hoping in this 3-day class that, well, I mean, I know I'm going to get that part done, and I know I'm going to get the head done, all of it. And I will get a start on this wing, but that's probably as far as I'll get. So when you see what I've done, that's probably what you're going to see, because that's usually about how fast I go. There's one other person who is pretty fast. She might get this whole wing done, but I doubt if she may barely get a start on this. Most other people, I'm faster than them, so they'll be either still working on this or they'll be working on this and that. So I'm kind of on the, a little more faster, but not the fastest. So I'm excited about doing that. Love my lace. So okay, so I'm really done now. A lot of stuff to talk about with Stitch Mania and and this next month and everything. So, and I'm going to give you my daily gratitude quote. I won't forget that. But before I do that, I'm not going to mention a name here, but I do want to thank a viewer a Floss Tube viewer who sent me a note in the mail. And I really needed it at that time, a whole bunch. I really needed something to help me, because we've been having some business issues and just a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, and it's made it hard for me to focus in and do things, and just made things really difficult. And she sent me this card just out of the blue, and it was just what I needed. And my husband, he just goes, "You have such special people that really seem to know when you need something in your life." So I know this person, if she's watching, she'll know who she is, and I really appreciate your love, and thank you so much. So, my quote for this Floss Tube is happiness. Get rid of the tears here. Shows a picture of a garden, somebody making a garden. And it says, "Let us be grateful to the people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom." Those of you who garden know that the people who make us happy, who give us joy and everything, they're the gardeners, because they help our life to grow. So, and thank you for joining me. Thank you for the new subscribers. I hope you find something that you like, and hope you continue joining me. And I love all you guys so much. And remember the beauty that's out there in the world when you're on the highway, when you're at home, camping, staying at home because you might have health issues, whatever. But just remember that there's beauty out there. There's so much beauty out in the world. Remember it and be grateful for it. So I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you on my next Floss Tube. Bye-bye.